Welcome to the astrology report for the week of September the 25th through to October 1st. And we're going to have a week that starts off with a nice splash of good news for each of us, depending on where this Mercury trine Jupiter happens in your sky. The middle of the week is kind of a slog as Mars and Venus try to perfect a sextile, but refrain from doing so. And that's going to feel like a bit of frustration in some of those love and money stories. At the end of the week, we have some electricity happening as Venus makes her third square to Uranus, having done this already in both July and August. So we're going to talk about how those three stories connect together. When I say electricity, I call this video rule breaker, but it's eccentric, dynamic, change orientation to bust free of something in your life, in your work, your money, or even in your love stories in order to find a new level of freedom and a new level of enlivenment. So we'll talk about what that looks like based on your rising sign, but you can listen for your sun and moon as well. Hey, welcome back to my channel if you're one of my regulars. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the whole sign house system. I'm using Western tropical zodiac. I'm primarily a traditional astrologer. However, I also love the minor asteroids. And of course, I always talk about fixed stars when appropriate. To find out more about what I'm up to, check the description box below. You'll see my courses, my access to my readings, etc. Fortunately, I am booked up for readings already until the next year, but you can get on my wait list. So let's get talking about what this looks like for all of us. And by the way, another one little thing I'd ask you to do is hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications because it does help me grow. So we're going to talk this right now about this week's first event, and then I'm going to show you the sky, and we're going to navigate the picture together by looking at the chart in our time together. First of all, whenever Mercury does anything positive relating to Jupiter, it's like good and news. News Mercury, good Jupiter, or expansive prosperity regarding commerce and marketing or selling, or anything to do with a positive communication, email, phone call, text. That's basically Monday. It may have already come through on Sunday for you, or it may be really blasting through on Monday and even as late as Tuesday, but get ready for that. This can be very exciting, positive developments, and especially if it involves the idea of a surprise and maybe breaking a bit of a rule area as well, because Jupiter is conjunct the asteroid Albion, and he's been sitting with Albion now for quite a long time. And this is kind of it has to do with doing things on autopilot. It's the high hill of the giants of the ancient Britain. And it has to do when we take rules for granted. We listen to what we're told to do from on high. I'm just telling you what the asteroid delineation is. And then we end up frustrated because we're doing something in an autopilot way without thinking. But because Jupiter is with this particular asteroid, like they're completely touching each other at 14 degrees of Taurus, sitting next to Uranus in a conjunction as well, it means about breaking free of the autopilot, breaking free of the rules, breaking free of the dogmatic and rote ways we just go about our business on that kind of, steady as she goes. So there's breaking free energy in the sky anyway. And because there's a trine for Mercury, it could be breaking through and breaking free news, emails, phone calls, ideas. Oh gosh, yes. And ideas, because Uranus is influencing this. So, genius ideas, breakthrough insights can be kind of percolating here Sunday, Monday into Tuesday. In other words, we can see that on the 24th, 25th, and 26th of the week ahead. And I'm talking about the Western time zones for people who live more or less in the Western world. But if you're off in Asia or, Australia, just for your time zone. So that's the beginning of the week, and I don't mind that. Like, why not start strong? I mean, like, really? I've had a pretty hellish week, I just want to tell you, because I got SHADOWBANNED. I'm not even going to say the word here. I don't want to flag the algorithm, but on a video about this celebrity that's in the news right now for his misbehavior, and he's been demonetized on a certain platform, and I can't even say the name RB because the little bots are trolling for that and basically shutting down content referencing that, as well as the words that go with that story. So right now I'm just like, shh, don't talk about it. But I will mention it a little bit later because of that Uranus square, whoa, to Venus. Okay, so let's keep moving. A lot of astrologers this week may tell you that there's a sextile in the sky between Venus and Mars. Let's take a look at that and ask ourselves, is that true? Because in our traditional astrology, it isn't true because they don't perfect the sextile. They don't actually come into a perfect connection. So here we are on September 25th, and you can see right away that Mercury is having a really fun time here. Mercury, right? I'm not going to even circle it. Mercury in Virgo, 14 degrees, direct and visible. Well, maybe I will, just to highlight how exciting this is for all of us. Mercury's visible from mid-September to mid-October. That itself, oops, I didn't mean to change the diagram. I apologize. That itself is particularly rare, okay? So we have that yay part of the sky, and let me get rid of that. Back to clock. Sorry, my mouse is not cooperating. Oh. Okay, sorry guys, my chart is in weird mode. Wheel, okay. So here we go, September 24th, September 25th. Okay, Mercury's here. He was at 14 degrees, but the time just ended up advancing forward, and he is in a trine to Jupiter. And I won't annotate it. Just trust me. Here we have Mercury. I hope you can see my cursor moving about, and there's Jupiter at 1414, and that little body beside him is the celestial body known as Albion. And that's about those, well, the way we need to not do things as they've always been done before, or we are doing it that way and we should basically stop. It's a presence of Uranus here in that broad conjunction to this asteroid and Jupiter that makes me feel like there's a desire to break free of rules, basically, in the whole sky for a while now. And of course, Jupiter can expand the rules, make them more strong, and try to tether people to rules. But Uranus keeps saying rebellion, or freedom, and there's a tension here. And so Mercury is flowing to that, though. So again, I gave you the delineation, the positive way your sky starts out. But this Venus story does not really perfect. So Venus is around 20 degrees on September the 25th. And you'll see that Mars, her cosmic lover, is at 19. And they never really sync up to be in an actual degree-based aspect as the week progresses. And I'm just moving us forward now. Here I am on the 28th, 22, 21, and we move a little further and we get 23, 22, and they're just not syncing, guys. So what does that mean for you? And let me say, they will come together in a conjunction on February the 4th in Aquarius, 2024. I just disappeared. Isn't that funny? I do a newsletter called Cosmic Moonshine, and I always send the information in written form to my newsletter subscribers on Saturday ahead of everybody else, and plus other codes and discounts and favors and preferential treatment and early access. If you want to get on that newsletter, check below. But I kind of wrote up a little thing for them here, and I think I'll just share that with you because I kind of think I kind of got the gist of it in a good way here. I kind of said regarding the reformation, the inability of Venus to catch up with Mars and vice versa, refraining from contact. I really said it this way. I said, it's like, I really said, as Venus travels through Leo, by the way, where she's been for 4 months, very rare. She tries so hard to perfect a sextile. First time in our life, she's done 4 months in Leo. We'll get to more on that. As she travels through Leo, she tries so hard to perfect a sextile to Mars in Libra. It's as if she's flirting with him in a dance hall, but not able to get him to say yes to the tango. So in this way that she's really wanting to make this love and money connection, but with Mars, a drive, strategy, power, will, forward momentum, but something's stalling here. And in Libra, Mars is also not in great shape. He's debilitated. He's trying to be diplomatic. He wants to fight with his sword, and he's looking to Venus for guidance because, hey, Mars is in Venus's house, right? So it's like, hey, Venus, what am I supposed to do over here? Give me a job. Well, there he is. And Venus is like, I'm trying to get the phone line up and I can't get a hold of you. So you might be kind of feeling like you're just sort of frustrated or missing the boat in actualizing some kind of love or money or friendship storylines with Venus not able to get Mars on board. And that will be frustration in your Leo and your Libra houses of your chart. When I do the all signs, I'll touch very briefly on that for you. What I'm really wanting to talk about is something much more powerful, and that is Venus touching down with the planet Uranus. Now, let's be really clear here. Venus and Uranus are electric energy, and in a square, it's going to be a bit of shock and awe. There's Venus at 24 degrees on October 2nd, so let's move back in time and look at how I'm talking about the dates that you should pay attention to, being approximately, let's go for here, There we have Venus at 22, and let's check out Uranus at 22. We're pretty precise there on September 28th, 29th. And so it really starts to infuse much of our week. And you can start to feel what we'll call engagement of Venus, even as early as the 24th of September, which is going to be when you get this, the 25th. So this kind of dominates the week ahead, but it picks up to intensity and more perfection and maybe more outpicturing as we go forward and start to see both on September 28th and September 29th and September 30th, the action of all of this. Yeah. Okay. So we're looking at Friday, Saturday. We're looking at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, really feeling, whoa, what's trying to happen here? What's this electric shocking awe with love and money stories coming into the sky? Sometimes it's a need to break free of something. Like I want to quit that relationship. And sometimes it's about that eccentric creativity. And I made a little list of this. People born with a Uranus square Venus aspect in their natal charts. Okay, get ready for this. Gene Simmons, the guy who wore the makeup with Kiss, one of their favorite songs, I was made for loving you, baby. But the makeup, the eccentricity, the kind of like far out music, the far out costumes, Venus, Venus arts, Uranus, like way out there energy, super inventive, super outside the box, way outside the lines. Alice Cooper, hello again, all the costume, makeup, breaking the rules, super goth. Elvis Presley, I think he was the first guy to move his hips, and then later Tom Jones copied him. He was shocking. He was breaking the rules around eroticism, sexuality, and love in his music and in his performance. And also Prince. Now, I really like Prince. Before I talk about Prince, I want to say one more thing. Prince had this aspect. So does this person in the news cycle who's being basically demonetized on his platform. I'm not going to say his name. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's a podcaster with 6 million followers, anti-establishment, sort of like a wellness guru thing, but he used to be a comedian. Please don't even put his name in my comments. Please don't. I do not want the bots trolling me. I do not want myself to be SHADOW banned. I took that video down because it was killing my back end. So I'm not going to go there. Please don't say his name, but that person with initials R, la 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 la, break up the bot, B, has been basically, has this shocking Venus, Uranus archetype. So there we go. There you have it. Now let's also mention something else here, which is that Prince has been known for like kind of that inventive energy. And I really wanted to share something that Rolling Stone said about him. It was like an article in Rolling Stone about the top songs ever that Prince created. Of course, When Doves Cry is my favorite song of Prince's. And it was a 1984 release. And I hope my internet didn't just out. Shoot, did I freeze? I hope not. Okay, hang on. I just think I froze. I hope I didn't. It says I have a lot of connection to the Wi-Fi router, but maybe my internet isn't doing so well. Shoot. Okay, I'm going to pause the recording. Give me a minute and I'll come back. Well, I'll tell you the Prince thing and then I'll pause the recording because I look like I'm jigging around. So Rolling Stone had a really nice write-up about When Doves Cry. So it's the biggest hit of 1984. Okay, I am jigging. So I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to go see what's going on, make sure the internet's working. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what's going on. I think it could be something to do with my laptop. So hopefully I'm not stopping and I'm freezing on you. Hey, by the way, if you're watching the live premiere, hit that like button. Please help the channel grow. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I'm having some kind of issues with subscribers being dumped off my channel and having to resubscribe. And it seems like me and a few other YouTube channels are also experiencing, especially astrology channels, some strange algorithmic shift that YouTube did in September. And it's taking most of our, at least mine anyway, subs down by maybe 50% in the month of September, although I have not changed my content at all. My views are the same level of views. All the other variables are the same. So please hit that like button. But more often, I'm begging you to subscribe because if my subscriptions go way down, this whole channel won't be a thing, right? So if you like what I'm doing, you haven't subscribed yet, please do that because this is my engine of my livelihood with my astrology other than seeing my clients and teaching classes. Okay, so I think I'm not jigging around anymore. I'm just trying to see if I am. I think I'm steady, right, guys? So let's go back and show you the story. So let's go back to Prince for a minute and then I'll go back to the chart. I think he's the emblematic actor for what this energy is that's in our sky right now. This Uranus square Venus energy. And in this article from the Rolling Stone, When Doves Cry, there's this little write-up that they basically said, because he's avant-garde. I can use eclectic, inventive, innovative, and avant-garde. So with no bass line, and Prince wailing over guitar, synth, and drum machine, When Doves Cry sounds as cold as a tense relationship can feel. His engineer recalls that the artist who played every instrument on the track instantly knew the impact the single would have on music. Nobody would have the balls to do this, the purple one reportedly told the engineer, meaning Prince. Just wait, they'll be freaking. Well, that's about it, right? That's what it's about. You're going to freak people out. You're going to be outside the box. You're going to be radical and rebellious, freedom-seeking, rule-breaking energy in some area of your life this week. It could be your love life, your money life, your job, your resources, your art, your creativity. And the lyrics have been Doves Cry, right? Dig, if you will, the picture of you and I engaged in a kiss. The sweat of your body covers me. Can you, my darling, can you picture this? And it gets really intense, right? Dream if you can, a courtyard, an ocean of violets in bloom. Animals strike curious poses. They feel the heat between me and you. And it's just like an intense song, really. It just goes through so much emotion and so much intensity, but he did something that was really new and fresh in the music scene. So you might have this capacity this week to be new and fresh in your creativity, your art, your money making, your prosperity, your relationships, your sexuality. I shouldn't say that word. I'll probably get bot trolled for the word sex, but you know what I mean. So commit to being willing to ride the wave of this energy this week around, let's say the 28th, 29th, and 30th, or so, even to October 1st. Feel this energy picking up in the sky. One of my favorite writers of everything, Ren Butler. I'm going to start promoting his course soon, The Archetypal Universe. I really love his stuff. I love his class. I've taken it twice. I audited it, and I also took it the first time on archetypal astrology. But anyway, he just talks about the shadow side of this, which can show up with a square. So give me romantic and social restlessness. Cravings for sexual freedom, which prevent a deeper intimacy, disruptive affairs, triangle situations, sudden attractions without substance, aesthetic disharmony, electric beauty, striking, flashing energy, sudden awakenings to beauty, liberation from beauty issues. What else does he say? A lot of cool stuff. Social restlessness. You don't want to start a new relationship under this. If you're in the dating scene and you got the square of Uranus and Venus in the sky, you're baking that into your new relationship. You're always going to have this kind of intensity in your relationship. And if you like that, that's great. But I wouldn't try for that. Okay. I wouldn't bake it into your life by starting to date someone and hoping it's going to always be a smooth romantic ride. If you start dating a new person in this week ahead, it's not ideal. If you're in an existing relationship, yeah, it's going to be a lot of electricity, and that can be good. It can lead you to unexplored territory in the boudoir or the bedroom for you and your partner. But otherwise, be cautious of what this looks like. And I wouldn't take any risky money decisions either, necessarily, because you might get unexpected results, basically. We're going to do the all signs shortly. And I'm going to open the chart back up. Last thing I want to say about the Venus energy as she comes into that flow with the square with Uranus is it's not new. It's not new. It's not new. It's not new. Did I say it 3 times? Go back to July 2nd, go back to August 9th, and here we are on September 29th when it perfects. You've been having this already. It happened at 21 degrees of the sign. Venus at 21 degrees of Leo, it's already occurred, and Uranus at 21 degrees of Taurus back on July 2nd. It happened August 9th at 22 degrees between those two signs, and Venus was retrograding, going back to deal with what she'd already started, like a bomb went off, right? July 2nd in love, money, creativity, inventive things, freedom, wanting to break free. And then on September 29th, she's direct at 22 degrees, and so is Jupiter. Uranus at 22 degrees. So, can be a malefic degree in some people's minds, just FYI, difficult degree. So this 3-part story might have to be seen as a 3-part story. And I want to bring up one other thing about this. So really tune into what I'm about to tell you. This is a once in a lifetime narrative. And it's really hit the fixed signs hard. The fixed signs are the Taurus and the Scorpio, the Leo and Aquarians since 2018. The reason it's hit us hard, because I'm an Aquarius rising, you can say so for your sun and moon as well, is because Uranus entered into Taurus. He hasn't been there since the 1930s, since the Dust Bowl. And so only, unless you were living in the early 1900s, unless you were born before the 1930s, you haven't experienced the square tension between Venus and Taurus in your life. Okay, Venus and Leo and Uranus and Taurus in your lifetime. So starting in 2018, this energy began to pick up. And the fixed signs that I mentioned, again, we got the most brunt of it, the Taurus and the Scorpio and the Leo and Aquarian folk, where you could feel it really rattling through our story. So it really started up, I wrote the dates down back in June of 2018 at 1 degree of Leo, 1 degree of Taurus. That implies if your sun and moon are in those early degrees or your rising sign, you got more of the energy of this intensity early in the story in 2018. And by the time we get to 2020, it's happening around 10 degrees of Leo and 10 degrees of Taurus. And people with sun, moon, and rising near 10 degrees are getting more into 2020 energetically. No, don't forget, it happens in 2018, 19, 20, and then 21, and then 22. By 2022, you're feeling this energy of this square between Venus and Uranus. If at 12 degrees, do you have your sun, moon rising at 12 degrees of Taurus or Leo? You really felt it then. By 23, wow, it jumped up in 2023 to 22 degrees. And then in 2024, the last one, there's 7 years this happens. The last year this happens is 2024, and it's going to be at 26 degrees of Leo. Therefore, are your sun, moon, and risings at 26 degrees of Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, or Aquarius? So my Aquarius rising, which is angular to all of this, is roughly at 16 to 18 degrees. It depends on which rectification I use of Aquarius. So I'm getting the most intensity out of this energy now, right? This time around. So look at your rising sign, sun and moon, to determine where this really feels most important for you, fixed signs, which year has this sort of electric current of shock and awe around money and love stories been most prominent for you. Now we're going to do the all signs. I'm going to bring you over to the sky where we have the all signs chart. Let me do that now. Hit that like button. And if you're in my live premiere and one of my regulars, Crystalline Alchemist and Stephen the Jupiterian and Michael Thrash and Sarah Schlabel and oh my goodness gracious, all of you of the Feral Writer, Purple Table Tarot, just to name a few. Of course, L.A. Taylor, Misbehaving, and all of you. Thank you for being there. Colleen, thank you. She's I'm a regular. If you're there today listening, thank you, Colleen. And Linda Calder and everybody. Thanks for listening to my channel on the live premieres. And if you don't know what that is, guys, I just means that when this video comes out every Monday, I'm in the chat talking to you about the content and getting to know you while we watch the video together. That's what a live premiere is in YouTube land. And I think they're really kind of cool. Because I can't talk to you while I'm recording. If I did this live, I can't read your stuff and do the thing with you. All right, so let's go over to the sky. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do all signs. We're starting with Aries, of course. Let me just change this setting so we can move the sky forward. I've got my setting locked and loaded on 0 Aries. So we're going to move the sky over to whole sign houses. And if you haven't tried whole sign houses, because Placidus doesn't really work, if you ask me, the ancient system of whole sign houses is much more accurate in most delineations of natal charts that I've experienced in my own chart and my clients. I converted in 2018 and I've never looked back. All right, so these are whole sign house systems charts, not equal house, whole sign house. It's a drop-down menu at astro.com. If you don't know your rising sign, which is going to be most accurate, in my description box, I have a how to cast your chart in whole sign houses. I have a free PDF of the meanings of the 12 houses PDF. I have a free asteroids course, a lot of freebies that you can grab underneath my description box. Here we go. Let's start with the Aries people. To do the Aries, we need to move back in time. So we will do that to get Aries onto the horizon line. What you're seeing on the right-hand side of the screen is called the horizon line. And about every 2.5 hours, wherever you live, that horizon line changes, 2 to 2.5 hours. So right now, we're starting with the Aries sun, moon, and rising sign folk. Well, we have this energy. Don't forget, July 2nd, I'm going to focus mostly on the Uranus square Venus. But I will say briefly, at the start of the week, Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, you will likely have some positive exciting, surprising work and money news. Okay. That's because Mercury in the house of work or health, and Jupiter and Uranus and everybody here in the second house. It's really a story between Uranus, positive information, news, or surprises around work and money stories coming through for you at the beginning of the week. As we move forward, there's some frustration as there's a refrainment between Venus and Mars in your 7th and 5th house. This may just feel like you just don't know what to do about that child in your life, that relationship, that romantic relationship. There's some kind of close but not quite of something that you're trying to complete or attain, but it's not quite gelling. Maybe look for some kind of resolution in that 11th house energy later in February, but we'll be covering that in the month of February. So don't expect that child, that romance, that fertility story, that entrepreneurial story, Venus in your 5th house, to really stick the landing with that client, audience, marketplace, or significant love and business partner. So this is kind of like you are yearning for that to make the connection with that business partner, love partner, audience partner from the house of romance, creativity, and sexuality, but it doesn't quite jive this week. Also, this part of the sky can maybe be about your child and not even about you. And there's some kind of disconnect going on there with that child and maybe even your significant other and that child as well. Now, as we move forward in the week ahead, we come into the time when we see that energy of that gnarly, difficult Venus and Uranus square, but also electric and freedom and rebellion energy. So, I mean, is it always good to have same old? Maybe not. So some breaking free, breaking down, rule breaking energy here coming into the end of the week. Let's go through, I mean, think of my days here. Hang on, 25, 6, 7. Yeah. So I'm going to say it's probably going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You're going to really feel it into Sunday. What rule do you want to break, need to break? What kind of freedom are you desperately seeking when it comes to situations to do with your finance, your voice, your vocation, your self-worth, and your child, your desire to have a child, your fertility, your romantic life, your sexual life? And you also might look at this as your creative life. Where's your creative life suffering? And you want to break free and bust out and do something different and break the rules because you felt this July 2nd, you felt this August 9th, and now you're feeling it for the last time this year, September 29th. And lastly, you could end up having some kind of financial challenge with a child, and that will feel like, there's a big ask, I need some money. You might have to push back, or you have to break some rules or do something new in order to help that child with their finances, for example, or that creative project is really asking for something very Prince-like. Venus here for actors, performers is wonderful. For people in the arts is wonderful. She's very strong here in Leo, and you might have to really break some rules in order to have that succeed. And this is the house of voice. And I often think of, what is your true artistic voice? So how do you want to speak into your truth of what is true for you? That's also in alignment with the deepest vitality and enthusiasm and inspiration that your art or your business or your, relationship life can bring you. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. So if you are the Taurus people out here, you are one of the energies here called the fixed signs, and have been under this story of Venus squaring Uranus all the way back to 2018, completing in 2024 for a once in a lifetime 7-year narrative. So keep that in mind as we get back into that back end of that story as I talk about the week ahead. So let's start off by mentioning that the week starts strong, kind of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Boom! What kind of surprising, unexpected, maybe shocking, but positive news is coming through your sky connected to your creativity, your children. Okay, that's where Mercury's delivering all the news that's fit to print. He's in dignity, he's visible, it's powerful. Your pregnancy, are you pregnant? Please, if you don't want to be pregnant, nothing like Jupiter in the house of your body and Mercury delivering the test results, right? So some of you, if you want to be pregnant, it's great. If you're a Taurus who isn't looking for that, good news about a speculative money risk, good news about entrepreneurial things that you've been endeavoring to do. It expands you. You are the receiver of the luck. You are the lucky one. This lucky news comes through, though, children, romantic partners, entrepreneurship, and creative projects. As the week goes on, there's some frustration here between Mars and Venus as they don't actually get the phone line hooked up and get that conversation to cement. Therefore, you might have some low-grade frustration between health and work situations and as it applies to your home life and the pleasures you're trying to experience in your home, and perhaps even a lingering health problem that you wish to resolve is just not clearing up. You know, that kind of thing. Mars here brings heat and inflammation and, you know, sometimes injuries and accidents in the house of sickness. And so you might be struggling to find that kind of resolution around those kind of health challenges that allow you to really feel a joy and pleasure in the home. Or if you look at it another way, you want to beautify your home, but you're too busy at work and you don't have time to do both. You know, do that redecoration, fix that room the way you want it. And the work life is just compelling you and it's draining you and you just can't bring those two together, for example. As we go down the week through Thursday through, let's say, to Sunday, we start to feel the energy very strongly picking up of what the big story of the week is. It's that rule breaker that I called this video, where you have to come to terms maybe with how Venus is trying to corner Uranus into a shocking narrative here. Like, let's like go a little shock and awe between things that are going on in your home life and private domestic life, property, land, and real estate. All right. And like that could even be trouble getting a rental contract, by the way, that earlier in the week, frustration around a rental contract or a pet at home situation. I forgot to mention that. But now Venus is like really, really down with that Uranus thing. Now you have Uranus in the house of you. You are the rebellious one. You are breaking the rules. You are hearing the rules. You're trying to find the on high dogmatic rules that you're supposed to follow. But here you want to break, free of anything that constricts you, that feels like it's just listening to the on high way it should be done. And Venus is saying, well, let's break it up. Let's break up what? Okay. Break up something in and from your home. Break free of something in and from your home. So Venus can be a lover or a love relationship that's cohabitating, and there may be this really intense energy here. Or you may want to just break free of something in your home, period. Like, it's not beautiful here. I want to get out of here. Or I don't like the decoration. I'm going to tear it up. I'm going to rip this wallpaper off. It's literally something like that, perhaps. But remember, this is a longer story. You started to feel it July 2nd, then August 9th, and September 29th. You can't pigeonhole this just to this week. It's like, what was going on in July, early August, and now September 29th? It's the same story, maybe in 3 parts, where this edgy energy from Venus wanting to bring you joy, enjoyment, pleasure at home is now having a difficult time with your own rule breaking, bust free, get the hell out of Dodge energies. So my advice here would be allow the freedom that you're yearning for to take hold and maybe channel that into some creative project, but be cautious about breakups in love relationships in this kind of context, because you have the Uranus freedom loving rebellion inside of you right now. All right, Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. I love this one. Here we go. This is going to be very much potentially very spiritual for you, because Uranus is breaking free in the house of spiritual liberation, spiritual awareness, and maybe even connecting to past lives. So you could have some really downloadable insights. But if that's so, Venus is, I want to start there. Well, I'll just say, we'll get to that in a minute. Sorry, pause. We'll keep going with Gemini. Beginning of the week, Gemini starts off with good news Sunday through Tuesday as you get this lovely trine between Mercury and Jupiter. Basically, good news about foreign lands, revenue from foreign lands, payment process stripe, foreigners bringing good news as it applies to your home life, your private life, things you're doing in the home life, including maybe marketing, merchandising, or selling things from your home or in your home. These are all, yay you, look for the good news. I'd love to hear in the comments from everybody how the good news feels, if anything happens, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for you. And look for emails, phone calls to be delivering that. You know, in our modern world, sometimes it's a combo, but not often in real life. And then we move into the frustration of the week-long energy where Venus cannot connect properly to Mars. This could be some frustration that you're experiencing your local neighborhood enjoyment, bars and restaurants and fun times here, or with the neighbors as it applies to things that are driving you crazy, or you're working really hard, like your entrepreneurial or creative projects are commanding your passionate attention, although they're draining you a little bit, or the romantic life is here and it's really compelling, but you want to connect the dot between your romantic life and your creative life and maybe your entrepreneurial life and Venus in the third house, the siblings, the house of cousins, the house of your hood or your online world, your virtual neighborhood. Now, for instance, it can be as simple as you're starting to date and you're trying to get some Hinge Tinder action going because that's third house. And no matter what, nothing cements, nothing gels. You swipe yes, they swipe no. So this is just not the best week to try to get romance going because the romance house and the third house of online dating apps are not connecting properly here. Wait till February, maybe something can break free and through, maybe through a foreign trip that brings on love. Oh, a beautiful bird just landed. Was that a crow? Wow, it's huge outside my window. What else can I say? Children, friction with your children and your siblings, friction with your children and the neighbors, or trying to bring harmony with your children and the neighbors, but nothing's really happening. Frustration, incomplete, hopes for that love or money stories to gel, but not quite happening. As we move forward and we experience like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we get the experience that I started talking about, the square from Venus to Uranus, seen July 2nd, August 9th, and back again September 29th. Don't forget in the intro, I explained that this is a once in a lifetime period between 2018 and 2024, where these squares are happening in these signs between Venus and Uranus. And so basically in your sky, it looks like you might have some kind of really electric travel problems or tensions or excitement, an unexpected, radically freeing opportunity to travel to a foreign place, a far offshore. These are both potential travel house and the long distance thing, far away lands. You may also have some kind of sibling or cousin or childhood friend or neighbor story percolating in the last part of this week. And it's really kind of like, how do you need to break through, break free, rule break, something to do with the 12th house. Now you might want to break free of some kind of addiction here, but if only if it involves third house people. Are you addicted to the local neighborhood pub? I don't know. You might also find this breaking free as breaking free of your own sabotaging strategies as it applies to things you do in your third house. For some of you, that's your online world, for example. I have a progressed sun in Gemini, and honestly, having this kind of SHADOBAN happened to me made me realize maybe I just need to step away anyway from working so hard on my YouTube channel. And so this energy maybe breaking free here as I go into deeper soul work, giving you an example, right? So a lot of this 12th house stuff is very subtle. A lot of it could be a dream at night, an electric dream with an idea that's genius for your online world, your YouTube, your creativity, your writing projects, your sibling relationships, on and on. Or again, very practically, a sudden jolting, surprising energy around a long distance trip that becomes a possibility, but you might have to break some rules to engage that journey, whatever those rules might be that you would break in order to travel, maybe your own rules. All right, I'm going to take a sip of tea and I'm going to take a pause of the recording. Let's stop the share for a second. This is my commercial break. I'm doing a webinar and it's going to be amazing. I hope it's free and I'm putting 90 minutes of love and attention into it. It's the eclipse webinar and it's on the 10th of October. Check out my description box. Come and join me there. I really love to see you. We're going to go into each sign and as it applies mostly to the Libra eclipse at 21 Libra on the 14th of October, the first real eclipse in that Libra axis that just started getting warmed up in July. And it's going to be really fun to teach this class because I want you to learn how to harness those eclipses and use them the best possible way. So join me in that. I'm going to take a sip of my tea, not in public, don't want to be trolled for slurping. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's keep going and move into the next series of signs together. Hit that like button if you're live premiere with me, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. That's what I need mostly from everyone right now. I can't believe how many people are unsubscribed who subscribe to me. So something's going on in YouTube land. All right, moving on. Here we have Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. If you're a Cancer and this week is starting off strong with good news and good energy, you're feeling that surprising positive goodness coming through, the energy of your local neighborhood, your sisters or siblings, I should say, brothers and sisters, particularly younger third house siblings, and maybe even childhood friends and information and news. But because this is also writing house, communications, online, publications, internet, things like that. This is definitely very much likely to be something you might even hear about or know about or find out about on the online world. But it impacts you positively in your house of great gains. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or should I say Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday energy. It's going to kind of bring you some surprising developments with a friend, an ally, a benefactor, with something to do with your gains from your 10th house of career. Surprising news here. Now, this is also a sibling house in the 11th. So sibling energy is big for you, elder and younger. Surprising and shocking, but good news. Okay. Whee! All the way through till Tuesday. Enjoy that. And it certainly can be good for unexpected news develops in your life around travel. So unexpected travel opportunity that also could connect to friends or siblings, or even pennies from heaven. Windfalls can be very much this Jupiter 11th house thing. I don't know, maybe a sibling's going to win the lottery and give you half their money. I don't know, but surprising positive developments in that very interestingly money area up in the 11th house. As we go into the week, there's this kind of frustration between Mars and Venus. They want to talk, they can't get the phone line to really connect, static on the line, refraining from perfect communication. That may be you're trying to get something going on here with your finances, your money, your earnings, with Venus, and she is like not able to get Mars's signal over to him. He's managing her house. So what kind of disruptions in the home basically may be happening that are in the way of your finances, or in the way of your sense of self-worth, or in the way of your pleasure and enjoyment of your food? Like, what, your refrigerator breaks down, there's construction in your home and it's too noisy for you to feel good about your life, or you are having travel from the home or moving from the home energy, especially with that south node, and that's going to cause some kind of financial temporary hardship this week ahead. And if it's about romance, then it's like, okay, there is not a really good touch point for romance in the home at this point, and Venus is trying to make money and Mars is trying to get hot and bothered, and the two of them have they're not coming together in a harmonious way. And this is playing out through most of this week. But as we round out Thursday through to the end of the weekend, then we begin to feel the energy of that square that happened July the 2nd and August the 9th, and it's back again September 29th precisely, between Venus, the goddess of money and love, and difficult tensions with Uranus up here. And he's in the house of your great gains from your career, the money you're making, the reputation, perks, etc., or an elder sibling. Now, it can look a lot like a need to break free, honestly, a rule break or bust out or color outside the lines, and some kind of maybe wish or hope or longer term goal that you've had around your finances. And if you use this energy right, you could come up with an innovative, inventive, rule breaking new career path or money path or earnings path, basically. Now, technically, this square can look like a shocking development in your workplace, and it may involve colleagues or coworkers as well, and it may impact your financial bottom line. So be cautious around that. But you can definitely say maybe you could harness some creative, inventive, wildly new idea around how new direction you can be prosperous in your earnings, Venus in your second. Now, Venus has been in your second house, right, for 4 months. I mentioned this earlier, since June, and she's really been trying to show you the way, Cancers, and how to find your authentic voice, to be persuasive and charismatic in your speech, but also to really align your money story in the right direction for you with that Chiron, your true gifts and purpose and path in life. So this is a time where there's some kind of electric shock value going on in those career gains, or again, something connected to an elder sibling. Yeah, so that's about all I have to say about that. Maybe also I'd mention that the 11th house with Jupiter is a fairy godfather up there. He's there till the 3rd week of May next year. And that really can bring you some significant career success and gains from your career. But he is retrograde. So whatever you're trying to bust out of here and not follow the rules from on high and do it the way it always is, watch for friends who are trying to sort of quash you into a box. And maybe you're going to bust out and go, no, I'm doing it my way. I like good old Frank Sinatra. So look for that Thursday through Sunday. Oops. I doth move through the signs too quickly. Sorry about that, everyone. That was insane. Am I on high? The big picture? Probably not. Sorry. All right. Back to where I was. Leo is next. Leo. I'm sorry, everyone. Leo. Nancy, time stamping sister, let's get this going. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. I want you guys to notice that this week starts with a big boom of positivity as the Mercury is trining the news guide, visible and direct, in your money house, flowing and trining Jupiter in your career space. Good money news, good career and money news. This could even look like a new job, a job contract, a job offer, a job application, your ideal interview, the great audition, whatever. These kinds of things are so positive as the sky favors you all the way through to the end of May next year with Jupiter in your career space. And this is Mercury chiming in and going, I got this, I'm visible, I'm direct, and I'm in my dignity, I'm in my exaltation. Exalted money and love, money and career narratives, reputation narratives early in the week. Let's go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for that. Then as midweek progresses, Venus cannot get down with Mars and they frustrate each other as they don't get a real tango going. This is you being persuasive, charismatic, beautiful, and not able to necessarily get Mars to listen to what you want him to do in your house. And that is your third house of siblings, third house of travel, younger sibling, okay? Travel, shorter distance travel, writing, online stuff, websites, social media platforms, and virtual neighborhood. Certainly dating apps can be here, and you might be pursuing love on a dating app if you're single and it's not quite gelling. So I would suggest you just let that go, especially with what's going on later in the week. Unless you want to get into a very erratic relationship, maybe just give it a pause this week for dating and looking for your love. You might feel a little bit drained here by or with a younger sibling, and Mars is like on that south node. We've got a whole video coming up about that. But I would tell you that this can look like an inability to finally work something out with that sibling, or even a neighbor, conflict with a neighbor, or trying to make a peace agreement with a neighbor but not quite gelling it with it either, or a cousin, or trying to work out that trip arrangement and nothing is happening. Like, everything's kind of like not coming together for that journey that you really desire to take. This week doesn't look great for that. As we move into the end of the week, though, as I mentioned for all signs, we have this very powerful Venus square Uranus that you've already experienced July 2nd, August 9th, and September 29th. And I told you in the beginning, I hope you guys listen, it's like this whole thing, 2018 to 24, is a once in a lifetime 7-year window with this energy hitting the fixed sign. So Leo, you are a fixed sign, okay? So this, like the Taurus people, is really intense for you. Over the last few years, since 2017 to 18, you've been feeling this kind of once a year energy, really. So it's it's not the first time. So what happens here is that Uranus, it wants to break free. He was a rebel. He wants to be inventive and eclectic and excitingly eccentric and new and fresh in your career space. And he's been going through here since 2018, refreshing the button on your career, making you do things outside the box of what you think you would ever do. And at the same time, Venus right now is in a square from the house of you. You doth object to whatever he's up to. He's breaking the rules. He's trying to bust out of the way it's always been done in your career and reputation, visible reputation. And Venus is disagreeing with him, maybe square. And in a lot of ways, and you could have some kind of like fickle, frantic energies around your work. Like, I'm just going to quit. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to start something new. And that might be exactly what's needed, right? To break free. But on the other hand, be very circumspect about it. Ask yourself, is that true? Is that what you want? You're ruled by the sun, Leo, and the sun is heading toward that south node. Again, there's a lot of need to let go coming up for you during this Libra season. I hope you listen to my equinox video, which is also SHADOBANNE, because I mentioned the character called RB. But you should listen to that video as well. I mean, you definitely need to listen to how you're maybe having to radically break free of that workplace situation, person, boss, or career path, maybe. And this week, whatever is happening becomes very obvious to you. And you felt it July 2nd, you felt it August 9th, and here we go again, September 29th, give or take a few days on either side of those dates. All right, Virgo, we start the week, exciting, strong energy coming into the sky. It's positive, exciting news that maybe you are directly delivering or messaging or speaking into the world, or ideas that you generate and get on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday that have electricity moving through your house of foreign shores, visas, court matters, third marriages, academia, and spiritual philosophy, churches and temples, and more. This ninth house is very meaning of life, metacosmos, between the worlds. Okay, so where is this surprising but positive news? You know, I have a Virgo rising daughter. Maybe she's going to find out. So she aced her first test and she got A+++. Me. She'll tell me, Lori, I got this great test result. But something is happening here. Now, if you want to travel to a foreign country in your Virgo rising, or you are traveling in a foreign country, again, what's going on at the end of the week is pretty positive, but very unexpected. So, you know, it could be like your plane is laid over because of a malfunction, but they put you up in the most expensive hotel full of like really fancy stuff. And, you know, and all of a sudden your life looks really cool. So look for that on the 29th. It's just Friday. It's most exact. Okay. But it's Friday here, I believe. I'm sorry, my days are mixed up. It could be Saturday, but whatever. You're going to feel it most intensely on the, 28th, 29th, 30th, but it's pretty precise on the 29th. Good news about a visa, good news about a book publishing contract, but you also are really much holding the news guy in your lap. So maybe you're the one bringing the good news to third house people, telling good things to your pastor, your preacher, your lawyer. This is really good about court cases working out in your favor this week, especially as well. Think about how this is felt. This is a house of father figures. Good news about or from a father figure. This is also sometimes a wealth house. In India, it's a Lakshmi house for wealth and prosperity. So you might have some bounteous prosperity developments, especially with Jupiter there, especially if it comes through an institutional environment or a father figure. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. The sky is telling us that at the beginning of the week, good news is coming to you, good developments that are positive as Mercury comes into a trine to Jupiter. Jupiter isn't a money house. This is your 401k. This is your investments in your stock market, inheritance monies, trust fund monies, money that you get from a tax payout, insurance payout, tax rebates, or just taxes, banks, mortgages, and loans. This is all so nice because here we see flow between the god of marketing, merchandising, and news to that part of your sky. So I'm going to call it really good money news, but 12th house can be from foreigners, foreign countries, foreign institutions. Do you work for a foreign company or whatever? Mercury here can also be about insights from your dreams at night, connecting to the occult house, and you might have a divine download of some kind of insight or information, especially with Uranus there. You know, he's like, divine downloads, really. You could have some insight, some breakthrough information, news. It is the Jupiter piece we're talking about. You know, I'm down the pipeline, right? It's Mercury, Jupiter with Uranus. So exciting, positive Jupiterian bounty, but maybe insights and ahas as well. So some of you should pay attention to your dreams, especially at night, or insights you have in any kind of meditative state or anything like that. You could definitely hear from dead people this week with good news from the other side. But it looks like a financial bounty in the first 3 days of the week. Good financial news. And then later on, as the week progresses, we have Mars and Venus not exactly kosher with each other. I hope I mentioned that for the other sign, the Leos. I might have forgotten. But anyway, Mars is not really in a flow with Venus. Well, they're flowing. They're trying to sextile, but they can't perfect it. So much of this week, there's some frustration perhaps, or some inability to fully realize some kind of narrative to do with what your drive, agenda, and focus may be as you hold that Mars sword in your Libra hand here, and you're trying to reconcile with a friend. You're trying to meet up with a friend, trying to heal a rift with a friend, or somebody in your career space even. And also Venus up here can be about a benefactor or a woman who wants to help you, a female ally in particular, and you just can't quite get the two of you to work it out. So this week can really be a kind of a frustration around those stories. And, Venus could bring some kind of great gain from your career here. And you, Mars, just want to ambitiously pursue it with diplomatic conversations and relating to that person, and you can't get it to go. Venus wants Mars to do her bidding, and Mars can't really hear her properly. So be careful with what momentum and passionate direction you take, especially as it involves business partnerships, clients, and your significant other, with Venus being a little bit unable to support the best outcome. Finally, as the week progresses, you get this energy of a Uranus Venus square that happened on July 2nd and August 9th and is back again on September 29th. Now, this square is full of electric energy, and it may have something to do with that money that we see early on with the Venus Mars story, the chunky money house. You know, you may have a real need to break free or rule break around some kind of situation that pertains to money from friends, money from an elder sibling, or money from an inheritance and dealing with an elder sibling or a sibling in general. And finally, maybe you're needing to break free of some kind of financial structures that aren't working for you so that you can indeed get greater gains from your career. Maybe you've locked yourself into some kind of structure in your work that doesn't allow for you to really capitalize on any kind of thing like money makes money, invest your money, get passive income. Maybe your commission structure is not good enough. That's what commission structure, royalty income, and you need to bust out of that straitjacket and really change up that money story for yourself. Because a lot of you will potentially be able to, especially with Pluto still lingering in the last part of your fourth house, buy or sell property and do so abundantly in the next year or so. You know, Jupiter is the inheritance transit here through to the third week of May. So some of you already know you might be coming into money, and some of you may not know it yet. So this could be the shocking discovery energy too, that you're going to inherit money. And that can be a big story coming into Thursday through Sunday of this week, for example. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. The sky is lighting up a positive story with Mercury and Jupiter in the start of this week, Sunday through to Tuesday, opening up a corridor of goodness between the messenger of the gods in the house of communication from friends, groups of belonging, like your book club, you know, your community that you belong to, social events, and elder sibling, as it applies to business partnerships, audience outreach, and even things to do with your marriage. And this kind of energy between these two houses, these are relating houses traditionally, it's about positive developments in relatedness areas of your life. Certainly, if you're looking for Venus up here, some kind of new gain in your career, a better job assignment, a better pay structure, a better position, this can look like the surprising, exciting moment in which you get the legal contract all done and signed up in the first 3 days of this week, Sunday through Tuesday. Frustration in the sky or inability to fully realize something happens between these two guys. This is most of the week actually, and Venus and Mars cannot connect to each other. So you want maybe to realize some kind of fullness and success and visible accolades in your career reputation space, but Mars is unable to follow instructions from Venus in her Libra house about how that looks in those backroom deals and negotiations. Possibly you are also, with that South Node Mars, finding yourself dealing with a need to let go of and cut away and release and surrender some addictive pattern, sabotaging health pattern, something you do to undo your own self. And because you're so busy with that, you're unable to really heed what Venus wants you to do in that career space in order to truly succeed. Finally, because foreign lands and shores are here, there may be some struggle between foreigners or foreign shores, and even things you wish to do, like travel to a foreign shore, and Venus in your career space. So you might be driven to go on a foreign shore journey, and you can't because Venus is trying to get you to work and she wants you to work for her. So there's this disconnect of agendas. You know, sometimes in the Mars South Node energy here, we haven't seen that like since I think 1987. It's kind of rare. This is a really good time to liberate yourself from an addiction or self-defeating habit or pattern. And I don't know that this is so bad that they're not connecting quite yet, because in February, Venus and Mars will come together in Aquarius and really help you with things to do with land, property, real estate, and home, and really start to gel something positive that also supports your career. So wait it out. Better times are ahead. As you get into the late part of the week, Thursday through Sunday, we begin to feel that square between Venus and Uranus. And That is that tension that began July 2nd. You felt it again around August the 9th, give or take a few days, guys. And then September 29th is kind of exact again. So like I mentioned in the beginning, this is something that really has been active for the fixed signs since 2017, 18, and finishes in 24 and won't be back again. And we all feel it, but the fixed signs get it the most. Scorpio, you're a fixed sign. So you've been having this kind of regular once a year tension here between what? Between your marriage house and your business partners and clients' house, legal contracts and vows, your marriage house indeed. And this Jupiter is trying to up level your life, right? Maybe you're trying to get married, move in together, get engaged and stuff like that, or find the perfect business partner, or get the perfect teacher, or succeed with your clients. That's a Jupiter story, right? That's been going on for quite a while. And that's that Mercury Jupiter goodness that I mentioned earlier with some surprises from Uranus. But now, like as the Thursday to Sunday goes through the week ahead, there's some kind of Venus tension here. Now that can be very practically your business or love partner is objecting to something happening in your career. And there's a shocking quality to it. Like, if you work one more day this week, I'm quitting our relationship. or your partner has some shocking, exceptional thing happen that busts her or him out of their rut in some significant way, but it really is impacting you in your reputation space and your reputation around love. So some Scorpios may find, like, for instance, there is a big disruption in your status, like I'm married, I'm single, I'm divorced, and it may not be what you want. So hopefully that's not true, but some of you may feel that at the end of this week. Be careful for that. That thing you fill in, I'm divorced, I'm married, I'm separated on forums. That's kind of like the 10th house. It's how the world sees you and how you're declared to be, And so squaring Venus, the goddess of love, in the house of reputation is very much a jolt to your status here. So be cautious that, your loved one is well listened to, and make sure that you don't have an unnecessary disruption. It can be your loved one is trying to break free, right? Your significant other has got that Albion, the rules, the way you're supposed to do it. And they suddenly tell you they're going to be polyamorous. I'm not kidding you. Like Uranus is like the god of polyamory if he goes in the 5th house, but this is in the marriage house. So suddenly you're going to have like a threesome kind of love story, Vicky Cristina Barcelona or something like that. Okay. So it's shocking, a little bit disturbing Thursday through Sunday for you. Ultimately, with Jupiter here, everything that happens for you in your marriage and business partner and client house is for the best. This can also be disruptive client stories, really breaking free, customers, clients, if you serve those types of people, Thursday through Sunday. Alrighty, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign story looks pretty interesting at the beginning of the week because Mercury brings some positive news in your career zone as he flows to Jupiter, the god of Santa Claus in the workspace. So every Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising who has a job in a workspace, this is good for you. If you don't, I don't know what to say. It could be some good health news. It could be some good news about somebody that is a figure you respect, or it could be something positive about your reputation and your health. But for the most part, for most of you, it's job and health. Job and career, positivity, getting the raise, getting the promotion, good news on the job, good news from the boss in the job, getting all of the goodness coming here in the first 3 days. Let's go Sunday through Tuesday, this week ahead. Then we have this tussle of inconnected, non-connecting sextile, like a bit of frustration, a bit of inability to connect between Venus and Mars as the week progresses. So Mars is in your house of your allies and benefactors, friends who want to help you, elder siblings, right? The house of great career gains, the house of your wishes and dreams. And this is where Mars is experiencing some kind of letting go and loss as he gets ready to approach that south node. A whole video coming out on that next week. And as you begin to feel this letting go, let God surrender here, Venus is trying to manage the story because that's her house from your 9th house of God, temples, religious and spiritual philosophy. Now, because this is a practical house, legal matters, foreign travel, book publishing, this could be some kind of letting go of some ambition or goal or dream that you may have had regarding legal outcomes, foreign shores, foreign travel, or book publishing. Venus can look like also here, she's trying to get something to really work in that ninth house. Let's win the court case. Let's get that book out there. Let's find that agent. But Mars is having trouble fulfilling the mandate. So you wanted help from the friend or the elder sibling or the person with a connection to a connection in some matter of ninth house meaning to you, the visa, the foreign shore, the legal matter, the book publishing matter, and you just can't pull it off. Something's getting in the way this week. Frustration. Things will look better in February regarding what could frustrate you this week. Then as things go on in the sky, you end up with that square between Venus and Uranus, last seen in July 2nd of this year, and then August 9th. And here we go, September 29th is more exact. Thursday through Sunday, some kind of eclectic, rule-breaking, eccentric, shocking energy from Venus in your ninth house to Uranus in your sixth house of health and work, pets and rentals, sometimes dating and debts. Now, if you're dating somebody and that can be a sixth house matter, then there's some shocking disturbances in the dating story as it connects to travel, foreign lands, foreigners and foreign shores. Okay, ninth house matters. If you're already on the road or traveling or planning to travel, there can be some significant travel disruption for you for sure because of something to do with a pet or a health issue or health matter, for example. Hygeia is floating through Aquarius right now, opposite Venus. Maybe there'll just be some kind of pandemic story that's going to disrupt your travel plans for some reason. So look for that probably Thursday through Sunday. If you want to break free, though, break free of the rut that you're in regarding your health protocols and routines or your work habits and routines, and let Venus guide you to something more dharmically fulfilling, spiritually true for what you're doing in your life. And you may be able to bust free of some kind of programming that your cultural, religious, sort of spiritual, philosophical upbringing locked you into. Because religion in its downside can be that dogma. And we want dogma to bust out here. And karmic debts are here. So busting out a dogma, breaking free of karmic debts, breaking free of some real life debts if necessary, can be occurring through Venus's temple placement in the house of God, where she's looking to get the divine signal for you as you break free of those health, work, and debt problems, that karmic and real, that may really be holding you back. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. The sky lights up in the beginning of the week with positive news. Mercury trines this planet Jupiter, who's Santa Claus. And this looks like really positive news between your ninth house of visas, travel, foreign lands, book publishing, temples, pastures, religion, third marriages, and things to do with your spiritual philosophy. And this good news environment, it can be institutions and bureaucracies as well. Red tape places flowing as visible Mercury in direct motion will be trining at 14 degrees early in the week. Jupiter in the fifth house of luck, money luck, entrepreneurship, sexuality, romance, and children. Now, because this is also academic house and also grandchildren, news that you're going to be a grandparent, or good news for a child around an academic setting or an application. These are possibilities coming up early this week. As we move into the middle of the week, there may be some frustration going on here. And the frustration, and by the way, if you're an entrepreneur or a consultant or anything like that, this can bring you an opportunity from a foreigner or foreign land or foreign shore to do some kind of entrepreneurial or consulting type independent business work as well. That would be, again, as I said, or travel to a foreign land for potential business reasons or pleasure or leisure travel opportunities being disclosed to you Sunday through Tuesday. And then middle of the week, Venus really wants to get a handle on what Mars is doing in her house, but she can't quite get him to pick up the phone. The two of them do not really connect. And that's because they refrain from making a perfect sextile. And so it doesn't feel bad, but it doesn't feel good. It's in between. You really want something to get off the ground in your chunky money house, including your investments, your 401k, your taxes, and all of that, your bank loans and mortgages and refinances and insurance, and everything's kind of like shoes in that house. And Mars is so busy in your 10th house of career and reputation. Now, he's coming to a place of surrender and letting go. I'll be doing a whole video on this particular thing next week, all signs video. You really want to be there for that. And this is like important because you're really releasing and letting go of some kind of reputation and career path. It's like the nail in the coffin. And And Venus wants to like manage it from a money house and tell Mars what to do, but he doesn't pick up the phone properly. So he's kind of on his own, and he's literally not doing so great in Libra. So be careful that you're not overly compensating, trying to make everyone happy, not upset the apple cart or be too diplomatic. But it also can be somebody in your career space who's trying to be also diplomatic. Well, you know, the soft letdown, you know, especially a solar figure, somebody you look up to. As well, if you don't have a career, these are just reputation things. And there's a bit of a reputation crisis maybe, and Venus is trying to smooth it over with the money, honey. Hey, don't worry, we got the money over here, you'll be fine. And if these two could have connected, if they would have made that connection, this would be positive career and chunky money stuff, but it doesn't quite gel. It may gel in February when they finally come together in Aquarius, okay? From February 4th. And that looks like, yeah, finally, here comes the money. And there is coming off of this unresolved career and money story. Okay, so wait till February, it might get better. That frustration gives way this week to some electric shocking and rule breaking energy around Thursday through Sunday as Venus ends up coming into that square to Uranus. Go back to, there's Venus and there's the square to Uranus. So go back to July 2nd, August 9th, and September 29th. What was happening then with your children, with your sexual life, romantic life, with your creative endeavors, your creative projects, with your enjoyment of life, your pleasure in life. What was also happening, you got a lot of expansion of sex, expansion of pleasure, expansion of business opportunities and money luck, as Jupiter is going to be here to the third week of May next year. But you want to be careful not to follow the rules and do it the same old Albion way. Break out of the autopilot with originality, invention, and electricity. Okay, so keep that story in mind, because now Venus in the 8th house is going to Thursday through Sunday be in a square to that exciting, exhilarating Uranus story. It can be like you're really pitted here on Thursday through Sunday about some kind of money story that has to do with, this can be money luck, like winning money can happen here, or like win the lottery. But the square to Venus is like, why is she so gnarly about the whole thing? Can you not take the investment winnings from the casino and put them in your bank account for some reason? Because they don't take cash. Venus here could also be like really trying to open you up to deeper sexual intimacy, like along the lines of the tantric or even the KINK, I don't want the bots to get me, or something like that. And you know, that's Uranus, Venus. It's like outside the box, sex, right? And the intimacy of the boudoir here is really intense, very soulful stuff, of very deep intimacy. And she's trying to get some shock and awe factor going in that part of your chart. Yeah, Thursday through Sunday. A child may have some kind of surprising financial situation that you didn't expect, and you're getting into it Thursday through Sunday, and you might be, oh my God, shocked, oh my God, they used my credit card and they bought a Maserati. How dare they? So there can be that kind of thing as well. Now, Uranus is something shocking, unexpected. So again, one of your children may have some unexpected, shocking information that they were keeping a secret from you, right? Venus in the 8th house. And lastly, sometimes secret love affairs are 8th house things, and you may find out that somebody that you're, surprised by a secret love affair story showing up Thursday through Sunday in your life, okay? Could be your secret, could be their secret, somebody's secret. Keep your eyes on the ball. I'm going to take a commercial break. Welcome back. If you're in the live premiere, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're one of my regulars and you haven't yet subscribed, I'm going to ask you gently and kindly to please do so, because I'm having subscription challenges in the month of September. If you see the back end of my stats, nothing in my channel changes, and it's like, and that's well before the SHADO problem. So please subscribe and help me continue to produce this content for you. Don't forget, check out my webinar. If you want to come do the webinar, it's free. It's free. I should have said that before. The eclipse webinar on the 10th will fill up. Right now it's got 100 people in it, and I've got a cap on how many people can come into that room with me. So if you want to join me for a free content webinar to learn about how the eclipse in the 14th of the Libra eclipse on the 14th of October may impact you, and how to best use it based on your sun, moon, and rising. It's going to be content you won't find on YouTube. So it's a teaching content. So come join me in that live webinar. I'd love to have you there. All right, I'm going to take a pause and I'll be right back. We got 2 more signs, guys, and then we're done. Don't forget, I am begging you to like and subscribe because, as I mentioned, I am dealing with issues on the back end of this amazing platform that I've always loved. Let's get going and talk about Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. You have, I am you, I am one of you. So we have this story going on. This beginning of the week is wonderful. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, some positive, surprising developments, news can be about commercial success for us as well. We do have Mercury in dignity and moving forward visibly in our chunky money house. These are the commission monies, passive income, inheritance money, money from your spouse's money as well. And it's like, finally, Mercury's forward here. Finally, he's visible. He's been here for 2 months. And he is at the beginning of the week in a trine to Jupiter in our 4th house of property, home, land, real estate. Also things to do with what we're doing at home, alone in our life. This is how we're going to be bounteous, expansive, prosperous, and good. Things are happening in our home life during this time, all the way through until next May with Jupiter here. We need to break free of the status quo, the rut, the way it's always been done, from dogma from on high. This is Albion on Jupiter. And maybe Jupiter expands Albion and makes it even more follow the way it's always been done. Don't bust out of the rules. But now with this really intense positive energy in the beginning of the week, we may find ourselves coming into some kind of insight, aha, download, especially occult mysteries, insights, downloads of some sort about how to do it differently, because Uranus helps with the download, right? And Jupiter helps with the expansion of it. Tactically, you may get some news from your family of origin or your mom or somebody in your family. It's also positive and surprising early in the week. If you have any kind of secret that needs to be revealed, Jupiter can blow it out of the water. It may not be your secret, by the way, but some information may come to light that was hidden from view that is also very good for you to know, and it feels very positive, and you're really glad you found out, and it feels very prosperous in some way. All right. Then when we move forward into the week, we get a bit of a non-event as Venus and Mars try to make a perfection in a sextile. And this energy will finally complete in February with the conjunction in the house of you, which will be like where this thing resolves. It doesn't quite gel now. But what's trying to gel is something in your love and relationships and partnerships and clients and audience and business partner house and legal contracts as well. And there's an attempt to make a contact to Mars in the house of foreign shores, visas, travel, and court matters. So for example, if you're in a court battle, and you want a positive settlement, an agreement, this is trying to happen, but it's not quite making the way. If you're trying to work out travel plans or visa agreements or something with a business partner, client, or significant other, things are somewhat there, coming together, but not quite yet. If you are traveling already and you're looking to like secure a love story on a trip or travel with a foreigner or love at a foreign shore, things aren't quite coming together yet. You might be getting ready to let go and surrender and release some kind of deeply held belief as Mars comes to that south node. Separate video about that next week. And there's some attempt for there to be some kind of support from Venus, because she owns the Libra real estate from your significant other or your business partner or significant friendship, trying to support you in this let go, let God, surrender, release some belief, or let go of a publication. Like me, you publish your stuff on YouTube, right? You post it, you publish it. And I'm having, as I mentioned earlier, some problems here with first the SHADOBAN, and also the algorithm was tweaked by YouTube, and it's causing me to have subscription problems significantly. Like people are getting unsub too. So do I have to let go, surrender, release this platform? Maybe. I'm almost thinking of going off to RUMBLE. I'm always spelling these because I don't like when the Autobots take over and suppress content. Okay, so if you are somebody who is a Aquarius rising and you're trying to get something going in a kind of travel mode, and you're really working it, or you're trying to get some agreement going with a father figure, solar figure here, or bureaucracy, then maybe Venus is trying to make the legal stuff come to pass, right? Sign the documents, finalize the contracts, but it doesn't quite work this week. So there's frustration there. And so just let it go, because in February, this some all kind of gels in the house of you, and you got your handle on this. So it's later on, this can maybe be more of a true story for you. It may come to pass later. Then in the middle, and then later in the week, we have that square between Venus, the goddess of love and money, and Uranus, shock and awe and unexpected developments. Now, just be clear, this is something that you already felt July 2nd. You already felt it August 9th, and September 29th is the last pass. So it's not like, okay, this is brand new. And go back to those dates, July 2nd, August 9th, September 29th, and think about it in terms of around those times. Second of all, like I mentioned earlier, you're a fixed sign, right? Taurus, Scorpio, fixed. Leo and Aquarius. So we have this story that's been impacting us around money, love, shock, and awe ever since 2018, once a year. And it finally gets done next year, right? And it's the last 2024, last in a lifetime pass of these 7 years of turbulence in money and love. And believe me, I've been money and love turbulence since 2018. So we're kind of seeking the answer to this question. What is this about when Uranus is in the fourth house of property, home, land, and real estate, squaring Venus in the house of legal contracts? Oh my God, I'm hoping my landlord lady doesn't suddenly email me she wants to break the lease. That would be exactly what this kind of thing could be. I swear it's like gnarly. But if you have any contractual agreements, like you just sold your house and the buyer looked like it was a done deal early in the week, and then later on, there's some legalese problems in finalizing the deal, or same with buying a property. Those are examples. Venus here can also be some conflict or difficulty that's shocking and surprising, but you want to break free of a certain something in your client audience marketplace. You no longer want to do that thing. It doesn't bring you enough joy, and you got to bust outside the box. That's only true if you're doing stuff usually from your home, because this is Uranus in property, homeland, and real estate. In 2018, Uranus ingressed into Taurus, the house of my home. And that was when my YouTube channel took off in 2018. I was doing other stuff to do with ascension and quantum healing, hypnosis and stuff. I wasn't actually using the astrology then on this channel. And so, this Uranus transit can be about, for example, an Aquarius who uses the internet from home to teach or lead. And there's this disruption with the audience marketplace, shocking and awe. I'm hoping that doesn't mean I'm like deplatformed or something. That would be awful. But you know what I mean. So you got to let go, let God sometimes. And finally, marriage. If you're married, I don't mean dating someone. If you got a significant marriage type story, there can be some disruption, unexpected jolts, or surprises this week in that relationship. And it may be that they're having some unexpected changes to do with their home, their homeland, their home life. And you may be in the crosshairs, especially if, you're just watching it on the side. It might be, oh my God, honey, you say to your significant other, I'm so sorry you're going through this intensity. What can I do? So it may not just be about you, okay? Especially if you cohabitate with that person as well. Okay, let's move on. It's looking going to be a rainstorm, maybe a thunderstorm outside my window. Finally, and hit that like button in the premiere if you're one of my regulars. Who are you guys again? Oh, I know I don't have my list with me. Bold and Beautiful Tarot. I haven't seen you for a while. Jupiter 8. Yeah. Oh, Grounded Extracts. I love that name. Thank you for being a part of my crew. My brain's a little fried. It's late in the day now on a Sunday when I'm recording for you, because this goes out Monday. And my Patreon gets it usually a day or two early, so they get this on Sunday. Finally, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. We start with positive news at the beginning of the week as Mercury trines Uranus, legal contracts, audience, marketplace, and marriage partner. Good news regarding trips, travel, journeys, not too far away, usually more domestic or close at hand, usually in your own continent at the very least, and maybe information coming through emails, phone calls, or text messages as well that are surprising and positive, that allow you to connect with business partners, marriage partners, or your audience in a new way, as well as a news or information coming through the world from a sibling that surprises you, but it's positive and you're really happy. Good stories are going on here. When we move into the middle of the week, then we have this tension, but not tension. We have this inability of Mars and Venus to make a contact on the tango that they're trying to do, called the sextile. And as Mars is moving through Libra, Venus's house, and Venus is watching him from the sixth house, this is like you want to get something to work here regarding contracts. Pets, debts, karmic and real, work opportunities, tendencies and rental opportunities, and removing yourself or health things, and also maybe removing yourself from a self-undoing or addiction. And as this is happening here, this sort of all these things I said, Venus is trying to pull these off for you, June, July, August, September. And it's good for your health, this journey of Venus through your sixth house. She's trying to manage what Mars is doing in your chunky money house. And there's some problems here. It's not quite gelling. So you might not be able to secure the money for the rental contract or the pet that you really want to purchase, or there's some kind of letting go and releasing regarding your tax structures, your insurance, you couldn't get the insurance payout, or you couldn't get the insurance deal for the rental you want to rent. It's just a frustration. It's going to look better, a lot better in February, around the 4th, when we see these two finally meet together. And that reformation that didn't happen becomes a union in your 12th house of foreign lands. The other thing I might say is that, like, there's quite possibly here with this Venus placement, some situation that may be about dating. You can find dating as a build up to a commitment in the sixth house. And if you're dating, I don't mean living with someone or really in a relationship, but if you're dating someone, this is some frustration here for sure. And it may even be to do with, like, is that person married? Does that person have another relationship? Do you have to keep this relationship a secret? And this doesn't really gel for you this week. And maybe it's very, very dissatisfying. Then at the end of the week, I want you to go back to July 2nd, August 9th. And here we come around September 29th. So let's say Thursday through to Sunday. The story I'm telling you, you felt it before, right? July and August. It's this radically shocking and disruptive and rule-breaking quality of Venus squaring Uranus. Now, Venus in your work, tendencies, pets, debts, dating house, squaring shock and awe and surprise and unexpected Uranus in the house of travel, younger sibling or siblings in general, cousins, childhood friends, things to do with your local neighborhood, neighbors. So, I mean, it can be a big disruption with a neighbor over a pet. Shocking. It could be an unexpected development with a rental property that's, not working out because the neighbors are objecting to you moving in. It could have something to do with even, some travel that you wish to do for work, and there's disruption and unpredictability around it. But you want to break free. Remember, I called this rule breaker. How can you break free in third house matters? Maybe, you always travel, with a certain airline, you're going to like slum it with one of those minor airlines just to make the trip happen, for example. Now you're going to feel this Thursday through Sunday, right? Now, maybe out of your control, there may be disruptions going on in the neighborhood with a sibling, and it's their disruptions, and you're on the sidelines watching it. Venus is in a house of debts as well as karmic, but real. And there may be some disruption in an attempt to Venus-Mars pay down a debt, pay off a credit card, resolve some deep financial stuff going on in your investments, and some shock and awe developments regarding a sibling, regarding travel, regarding your online world, all of that. This is a really interesting one to see how this is going to play out. You're being asked here in many ways with this Venus transit through your sixth house, June through to October the 8th, to really look at what your deepest desire is when it comes to work. What work is desirous and true for you? And so maybe there's some disruption around that question answer. Like maybe you think you've got a handle on it, and then there's a shocking surprise, because maybe you need to color outside the lines in some way that you think the work you're here to do is this work of service. Maybe there's something else trying to be shown you, because with Jupiter in your third house all the way through till the end of May next year, the 25th of May, you're being bounteous in travel. You're being prosperous on your online world. You're thriving when it comes to sibling connections. You're being given gifts in that third house. Even teaching and learning can be areas of great success for you over the next few months, all into the third week of May. So pay attention to maybe an opportunity to bust away from some sort of work situation by being given a radical and inventive new opportunity for skills-based learning Thursday through Sunday of this week, that maybe you've already got your niggling idea that it was coming in July 2nd and August 9th. Okay. Those themes may be repeating again here now. Okay. Thanks for listening, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, all folk. Thank you for being here as a part of my channel that I'm hoping continues to grow, because if it doesn't grow, then I don't grow. And if I don't grow, I'll go find another job. So thank you for being here, everybody who's already in my crew. And if you're new to my channel and I've been begging for subscriptions and likes, and you don't like me begging, okay, but give me a try. If you don't like, you can unsubscribe. My Patreon community gets early access, having a promotion. Come join me there for $5 a month. You get up to 3 meetings a month with me. You get gifts from me this month. You get the free Synastry course. Are You My Person? You get the free Chiron, the Key to Purpose, a course for free, and no one else gets those for free. It's a Patreon sign up promotion, and my 2023 12 1-hour videos for each sign for predictions for 23. And we got some months left. You want that stuff for free, valued over $80? Just try me out on Patreon. If you don't like, some people just sign up, pay $5, or even put the trial 7 days, grab the goodies and leave. What can you do? But not everybody does. And I'm okay with that. If that's your ethic in life, that you just want to come in, get the goodies and leave, then you do you, right? But those of you who have stayed so far, I've had a nice enrollment of about maybe 50 more people in my Patreon since the month of September. And I'm extending this through to the middle of October. So come join me on Patreon, because I know that no matter what, I can't lose track of you, because you're not this platform that can deplatform people, demonetize people. Hope that bot doesn't hear that word. Anything that flags, the system. So this big news story that came out, the big news story that came out about this character who was an actor, comedian, and then he was, a BBC guy, and then he was, I can't say his name, RB. Because of my equinox video, I had one line using his name, one line out of a 1 hour and 36-minute video. That was SHADOBANNED at Facebook. And you can tell that happens when they won't show the graphic when you post it on that platform for one reason. One of my subscribers alerted me that for the first time ever, he tried to share one of my content on Facebook, and never had a problem, and I couldn't share it either. So that's how bad this world is becoming, that I don't care how controversial the story is. I put out an asteroid video about Salacia. I included Woody Allen, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Clinton, the Masterson guy, and this new guy in the news cycle, about stories of impropriety regarding what? And it was about the asteroid, and it was all a teaching about an asteroid, and that thing screwed my channel up. So I don't know. I'm just going to say to you guys, I think I could be one of those people. If I was living in the United States, I'd be a libertarian. And bottom line, I am not either liberal or conservative, Democratic, or Republican. I am a Canadian. I've never voted in my life, but I'm getting to the point where this world is becoming so Orwellian. This is my end of my video platform speech. So Orwellian, so 1984, so like truth speak, so censorship, so return to dictatorial imperatives, fascism included. The movement of Uranus through Taurus was the rise of fascism. That was Mussolini, that was Hitler, that was Stalin, and we're back. Taurus, the movement of Uranus through Taurus is back again since 2018. And you can argue that we have become scarily more like that again. This whole world is moving in that direction again. Eeks. All right. Thanks, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thanks for listening this long. I appreciate all of you. I hope to see more of you on the premieres. If you're new to my channel, I love chatting with you. And these videos go live 24 to 26 videos a month. If that makes you excited about astrology, then come watch my stuff. Ciao, ciao.